we are going to also go across to NCP's Supriya Sule, because a lot of the things that have been said by Shaina NC and also through the day by various leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party, it is very clear that a lot of it is directed against the mismanagement or the quote-unquote mismanagement of the Mahavikas Aghadi, which is the coalition government in Maharashtra. That the reason why this chaos is unfolding as far as COVID-19 management is concerned is because there is no cohesive governance in the state. Now, that's a statement that is being made. But there are a sequence of events that have led to a lot of speculation. First of all, this meeting that you see on your screen right now, late last night, between Sharad Pawar as well as the Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari. Then you have a number of other meetings also that have taken place. To talk us through all of this and perhaps maybe explain what is happening, I have with me our newsmaker this evening, Supriya Sule. Supriya Sule, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. I want to ask from you, Ms. Sule, is the alliance safe to begin with?
Why would it be unsafe?
No, because through the day there has been a lot of speculation on certain leaders praising the BJP, certain leaders of the NCP, certain leaders in the Congress allegedly unhappy with the alliance, perhaps in conversation with the BJP. The BJP itself, raising doubts that you're not in control. The NCP trying to do a balancing act, whereas, the Mahavikas Aghadi is all over the place. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know what you're following. I'm only following solutions for coronavirus war, and we want to win this war against corona. So I have no idea what information you have, because I don't seem to have any of the information that you seem to have access to.
Mr. Sharad Pawar, Ms. Sule, Mr. Sharad Pawar, the NCP chief, he met the governor, then he also met the chief minister at his official residence. Now that is one place where a meeting so far has not happened. I'm not trying to overread between the lines, but I want to understand from you, can you categorically tell both people of the state as well as the nation that your alliance is together and there are absolutely no differences?
I have no reason to reassure everybody, because the speculation just seems to be in a small group, because I'm actually amused. Because yesterday, Mr. Praful Patel made it very, very clear, which was even on your channel, that the Honorable Governor was really very kind and he invited Mr. Pawar for tea yesterday. And that's exactly why Mr. Pawar went. So I think that was something which Mr. Patel yesterday said. And first of all, the Thackeray family and the Pawar family have had an absolutely close family bond for last 5 decades. So it's a friendship and a relationship which has been for 5 decades. So for Mr. Pawar to go to Matoshri is nothing new for Maharashtra or even in Indian politics. So I'm really surprised that why everybody or you would be so concerned because he went yesterday to Matoshri. I mean, there's nothing new about it. It's something that's happened for 5 decades. And they are also coming to our home for 5 decades. So there's nothing new in it.
Fair enough, Ms. Sule. But see, the point is, a number of things are happening in really quick succession. For instance, Rahul Gandhi's statement where he seems to suggest that he is not the government. He seems to suggest that in Maharashtra, it's an alliance and he's supporting the alliance. He's not the government.
But Mr. Rahul Gandhi is absolutely right. He's absolutely right. It is an alliance government.
But he is the government. For him to say that I am not the government, I am part of a coalition, I am supporting a coalition, do you think that will be an incorrect assessment?
No, that shows the humility and the honesty and the dedication of the man. That shows what a great leader and a great team player he is. I mean, I'm actually grateful to him for being so honest and such a great team player. I mean, I really compliment him for that.
Ms. Sule, let's talk a little bit about the COVID fight, because the fear is that amid all of this, this is a distraction from what we actually need to focus on. Maharashtra is a troubled state. It is a troubled state. For instance, the number of cases that it is contributing is a matter of great concern. Don't you agree? At a time like this, do you think that this controversy is meaningless?
Yeah, but for us, I mean, I don't see a controversy in the first place, and a distraction for who? We are not distracted at all. We are putting our heads down and working. And if I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand right, Mr. Pawar on your channel has been quoted saying that he's so busy between these COVID challenges and solving and the monsoon coming and planning for all that in the state, that we are concerned about nothing else except working with the government, even including the center government, even the other state governments, because we all work together with each other, because we all have challenges. If a train is going from our state to somewhere else, we have to contact that state. If there are people of Maharashtra who are stranded in other state people are stranded in our state. So we are constantly in dialogue with the central government, state governments. So we are all so busy and trying to save every life in our state and help each other from good practices. So actually, if you ask me, we are not distracted at all from what our goal is, which is a single goal of making sure Maharashtra and our country wins this war against COVID.
Ms. Sule, my two last questions before I'm sure you will also be occupied with a lot of meetings. Just two quick questions. Question number one, we spoke to Mr. Sharad Pawar earlier in the day, and he seemed to tell my colleague Srinivasan Jain that Devendra Fadnavis, quote unquote, Devendra Fadnavis is getting restless. Do you think that the BJP at this moment is getting restless to perhaps form a government even during these COVID times?
Well, it's very unfortunate. I would really not like to say anything personally about somebody because it's unfortunate, because these are very challenging times. It's not just about my state, you, me, the whole world. Globally, we are in this challenge. So what we really need to do with each other is hold each other's hands and win this war. And we have the rest of our lives to fight politically. But it's really unfortunate that, there are agitations happening rather than working for people and, serving or giving great suggestions. I mean, I would compliment even the Honorable Prime Minister and our CM Maharashtra, both, because the Honorable Prime Minister called all the leaders of opposition and had a dialogue, took suggestions. Mr. Pawar constantly writes to him. He takes a lot of feedback very well, implements a lot of things as well. So that's really kind of the Honorable Prime Minister. And the same is followed by our Honorable Chief Minister. He reaches out to people. He's had constant dialogue with even people, because this is not about opponents. We differ ideologically. We don't have any personal agenda. So Honorable Uddhav ji has reached out to every political leader in Maharashtra and has taken suggestions, ideas, and he's constantly open. And in all the addresses that he gives to the state, when he addresses the state, he absolutely is so open to ideas from anybody. He constantly tells us one thing, that we are all in this COVID war, we are all on the same side. The only opponent is COVID-19. We are all on one
now,
side.
Ms. Sule,
the ideologies don't matter.
Absolutely. Ms. Sule, my final question on the issue of migrant laborers. We know what position the NCP has on this issue. But again, Maharashtra is facing a big challenge with the exodus or the mass migration of these migrant laborers. The SC has stepped in where it says that both centre and state are responsible. I would like to read out a tweet by Mr. Piyush Goyal, who's the railway minister. He says, Maharashtra se aaj sham 6 baje tak 145 में से 85 ट्रेन को चलाना था, जिसमें से राज्य सरकार ने यात्रियों का अरेंजमेंट सिर्फ 27 ट्रेनों में कर पाई. So in a way, the minister seems to suggest that the problem is in the state. The center is providing the trains. Do you think this is a big problem in Maharashtra?
I think for me personally, this entire migration has been a very, very painful, hurtful event. Because I think the amount I've seen women walk, pregnant women walk, children walk, these are exceptionally painful situations. And I think we all need to be, as I repeat and I reiterate myself, that we are all on the same side. These are our people. Doesn't matter which state we live in. So I think what we need to, it's our moral duty, whether it's the central government, state government, or any state government, to get our Indian people, our citizens. And why only Indians? There are foreigners who are held up in India. Is it not human for us to make sure they go back to their own homes? I think that's moral responsibility.
Then, Ms. Sule, how would you respond to this tweet by Piyush Goyal? He seems to suggest that the state is not being able to arrange enough passengers for these trains to ply. Out of 145, only 27. were able to?
Well, we have been in dialogue with the railways. We have been in dialogue with the central government. We have an arrangement of going. When there is such a huge mammoth exercise going on, there are challenges. There have been challenges even with railways. They've also had some challenges, but I think this is not the time to sort of, what are you doing? What are we doing? Is what we need to do, because these migrants, if their families are calling them, they need to reach home. The child needs to reach home. The pregnant lady needs to reach home. So I think rather than getting into all this, I personally feel that it's our moral, it's my moral duty, because I am also an elected member. So when I see this pain and hurt people going through, I feel absolutely traumatized and I feel guilty about it, because I am a part of this system. So I take ownership for it. That when I see a person suffering, I am party to it. So I also take ownership. I will not blame anybody else for it. It's as an elected member, I am a part of Indian Parliament. It's my moral duty to make sure every person from wherever reaches. As a matter of fact, today, an Andhra Pradesh MP called me and said, somebody from Andhra Pradesh wants to come to. Of course, we will make sure smooth travel is there. So I think it's our moral responsibility right now, and it's mine. The buck stops with me.
Okay.
I would not blame on anybody else. It's me.
Okay.
That's where I would start.
Ms. Sule, finally, I would make one more attempt. Am I to assume, after speaking to you, that all that we saw over the past 24 hours, these fast-paced meetings, were actually nothing?
I don't know which meetings you're again talking about. I mean, you brought to my notice 2 meetings. One was clearly a courtesy call. It's absolutely very kind of the governor to invite Mr. Pawar for tea. So he went. They had a very healthy conversation, is what I understand, which is also, you're aware, in the public domain. And 2, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, Mr. Sanjay Raut and Mr. Pawar meet regularly. So if they met yesterday, I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm so glad they meet so often, because then everything keeps going. Please do understand, Maharashtra and India is going to have rain soon. And there's a huge planning that goes into rains. Don't forget that. There is, the farmers need to be told many things. Fertilizers has to reach, the seeds have to reach, so much planning. And please don't forget, last year we had huge water challenges. You've forgotten what happened in Sangli and Satara last year. So we are even preparing for that. If there is torrential rain, what should be our plan B? So we have so much happening at our end that we really there is no time to politics. This is time to plan and make sure every citizen is safe and is well fed, and the companies start, factories start, and we make sure our economy begins and the wheel starts turning again. This is what we need to address.
All right. Ms. Supriya Sule, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.